we know where our moral authority comes from, right? The absolute truth, the absolute authority in our lives is outside of us, and
Yes, right.
and it should dictate the way we think and our perspective. In the times when we're flooded with emotions, we're flooded by circumstances, like we can still hear that still small voice, you know, still saying, "Hey, the right way is over here."
Before we hit record on this, I was like, man, we haven't hung out, and it's been about a month. Like, we
Yeah.
tried to record that one day, but the internet was really sketchy where I was at. But it's really funny because I was driving by your house literally like multiple times a day. I was like, we're just busy. We got a lot going on. But
Yes.
yeah, I
Go,
thought
go,
it'd
go. Mm.
throwing stuff. And I was like, nope, you're not going to do that. You're going to go upstairs and clean. So he goes upstairs and starts cleaning. But the cleaning is, crash, boom, bang. He's just throwing stuff, just ticked, having a little 5-year-old temper tantrum. So I go up there and I'm like, buddy, this is not appropriate. And I pick him up, right? I just like cradle him and I'm like holding him downstairs. And while I'm carrying him downstairs, he looks at me, he's like all angry and he flips me off. Like, right as we're going downstairs. So I can't laugh, right?
Mm.
And more importantly, you don't throw fits like that. You're not 2, right? You're getting bigger. And so it was interesting because I realized my parenting style is not, I wouldn't say it's laxed, but I'm a pretty chill guy. Like, I don't let a whole lot ruffle me. But as soon as I realized that with him in particular, I think I'm being too laxed. And so I was like, okay, I need to be setting more of a bar and pushing you harder and being more strict.
I so I guess, like, my question to that is like, how did you come up with that? Like, why do you feel that you're lax with Torin?
I think that the thing that I was realizing was I make suggestions more than I say this is what we're going to do
Mm.
instead of lead.
Mm.
If that makes sense. So I'd much more because with adults they're good at nuance, or they can be, right? If I'm being suggestive to somebody that works for me or I've worked with, they usually get the hint like, oh, okay, yeah, I guess that's a good idea. I should look at it this way because I'm not necessarily there to impose my will on you, right? But with him, this is what you're going to do. And I don't care if you don't like it, but this is what we're going to do. We're going to get up. We're going to do these things. And I'm not going to suggest it to you. I'm not going to give you that wiggle room. I'm going to have a high standard and have command first. And then where there's negotiation, I'll let you know if we
Sure.
can negotiate on whatever.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. Those are my thoughts
I
on
mean,
it.
I thought it did the end result, was it what you were wanting? Do you think that it was something that stuck for him, or
Well, we're 4 weeks in, so we'll see.
4
But
weeks in?
yeah, it's more of my vantage point. It's interesting though. So we started reading through so Jocko Willink, who wrote Extreme Ownership, he also wrote a bunch of kids books, The Way of the Warrior Kid, this whole series. I don't know if
Yeah.
you ever read those. They're pretty
Gosh,
good.
yeah. Oh,
Okay, yeah,
Reese ate those up, man.
nice, yeah.
Yeah.
So we've been reading those together at night, and then that's where Torin was like, hey, I should do jujitsu. and and then also I was like, well, it sounds like we need to get up and work out. We were talking about that, and so for the last couple weeks, we've been getting up. And I used to do PT, and I learned it from a guy who used to be a drill instructor in the Marine Corps when I was doing master's commission. And so every day we did PT just like the Marine Corps would do because he would lead it and it would cook you. So I was like, all right. And so I'm using it. I'm using that same style of like, here's cadence and here's repetitions and here's how we're going to do this. And it's been awesome. And working out with the boys first thing in the morning, like
Right.
a drill instructor and cooking them. And it's been cool. But I think that's part of it too. Like it was more of I'm not your peer, I'm your parent. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
this is how it's going to be. So
Gotcha. I like the way you phrased it too, just for, your own reflection, and as 2 dads, your reflection of, I didn't want to give him suggestions, I would much rather lead him. Yeah, and you're right, man, like, he's 6. Uh,
Yeah.
but I don't. I think that I think you've gained a lot of insight into how you're parenting. Do you find that you're parenting with uh with both boys? Do you find that there's some differences?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Peyton was way more level-headed, and I could give suggestions, and he would listen to me, and he'd say, "Oh, okay, that makes sense." And so um, it was interesting. But I think I realized the same with him is I have to draw a boundary because he's almost 13, and he's starting to get the testosterone on the brain. It's
Yep.
starting to short circuit stuff, right? and and uh, so have to be more his nuance, especially like in comedy. Yeah, it's less lax and it's more command lead. Like, here's what we're gonna do. Here's how we're gonna do it. And so it's interesting, and it's been an interesting conversation. So because Peyton's been doing Civil Air Patrol since August, something like that,
Oh, yeah.
and so and as he continues to rank up, so I jumped in and realized, okay, well, this thing's only as good as the volunteers, and so I'm going to step up, and so teaching leadership courses, and it's been fun because the first few months I did not want to be there. I was like, this is a waste of my time. Like, this is not good. And then the more that I'm there, and then I started teaching the leadership courses and the things that I do for companies, and everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing!" And it's not, but but it's not, but
Yeah.
you've never heard it before. Like,
Right.
leadership
It's
is
fresh.
influence.
Yeah.
Leadership is not a position. Leadership is about you setting the temperature. You get out there. You be the thermostat, not the thermometer. Right? Like all these things that are common knowledge to probably both of us now because we've been around it a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fresh for people, and so it's mind blowing, and it's kind of cool because you're starting to see the culture. Yeah, you're starting to see the culture shift, and at the same time, it's given me a platform to then instruct my son in a way that right. He's in a classroom of his peers at Civil Air Patrol, and they're all like, "Oh, okay, like this is important." So anyway, it's kind of cool.
That's cool, man. What a great opportunity. Even though it didn't start off as a great opportunity, what a cool opportunity that you've made it into to be able to, like, hey, this is that, like, I do this at home too. So it's not like I'm up here telling you all these leadership things. I do this stuff with my son all the time. And I'm sure probably when he's with his peers, he's probably saying things like that. Oh yeah, my dad does this all the time. I was like, "Oh,
Yeah,
does your dad?" Yeah, you know what I mean?
right.
There's kind of like this cool cycle and reinforcement that goes on between, you and your son and the group that he's with. So, dude, that's really cool, man.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Like, yeah, I know what you're saying. Those times where you put your kid into something, a soccer or something like that, and you're expecting there's going to be some coach on the other side, and there's no coach, and then you get the email about, hey, does anybody want to coach? And you're like, oh, what? And you like, and now you're now you
like
have this
okay,
like pang in your heart, like, I guess I better do it. Um, and there's also another, uh, it's a great experience to, you know, you're used to training adults and professionals, right? And now you're taking the things that you do well with adults and then tailoring it for a younger audience so that your message sticks with, right? What a great experience that is. Our football coach um actually volunteered to coach the 8th grade girls at our middle school. Boy, yeah, it's there's
yeah,
a contrast for sure in, obviously, not just, male female dynamics, but just coaching like emotions um and managing personalities a little
yeah,
bit different, right? You're so used to um you know boys that uh are really high in testosterone sometimes and can come back at you, and then now it's just a different feel, and it's kind of fun to watch sometimes when he's on the sideline. He's he, and he's got to tailor his coaching, and to his credit, man, like really really good, and I think it'll just help
That's
him,
cool.
with football, tremendously. So it's good
Oh
stuff.
man, I bet. Yeah, because I think even, I mean, it'd be like, Bill Belichick going and coaching high schoolers too. I mean, you know what I mean? Like it's I'm going to assume you know a lot of stuff if you're going to be playing in the NFL, but then having to like come back and be like, okay, I got to get back to like the super basics and teach people. Okay, here's what I mean when I say you're going to block somebody, or here's
Right.
what I mean, right? Whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's so funny.
fundamentals.
Yeah, I also had
Well,
a funny thought of. Have you ever seen A League of Their Own with
uh,
Tom
yes.
Hanks? Yeah,
Yep.
there's no crying in baseball.
There's no fighting it, man.
Right.
I mean, that's a great wow, what a good movie to bring up, man. That was,
Yeah.
it was a story about a guy that has a certain set of skills that has been applied to a certain avenue, and now he's gotta try it on somewhere else, and he's just gotta learn how to adapt, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's funny. What have you been? I mean, we haven't talked since the beginning of the year. What have you been learning? What's new?
Um, really, kind of some of the things we were talking about in the beginning, man. Just a lot of uh, a lot of traveling and um, yeah, just helping my kids out, finishing out this season of wrestling in their lives, and not really helping out, but more like traveling and coaching from the outside. And I'm not a I wrestled in high school, but I wasn't like like good, like super good or anything. I mean, I was successful at times, but I told both of my kids that if there's what's the hardest sport I've ever played? Like without a doubt, it's wrestling. There's just so much to it. Um, and again, it's you're in it's kind of you're in combat. You're really imposing your will on somebody, and if you're somebody who's competitive, you're really gonna want to, and you don't want to lose. You really have to show it during the week, during practices,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
your holes that appear during a match and a duel, it shows up, and it's because whether you didn't have a good practice or not, yeah, or just like drills you didn't practice enough, or because a lot of wrestling is not repetitiveness, it's a lot of muscle memory, and you have to react in the moment because you both are just going at it, right,
Yeah.
for
Right.
2 minutes straight.
Yeah.
And so uh helping my youngest one out has been a challenge every once in a while, because he's first time going, and he's just kind of, like I said, just kind of getting thrown into the wolves as a freshman. He's wrestling juniors, and dudes with full on beards and deep voices and like, muscles, and this is like, oh, I like, and as a
Yeah.
dad and as somebody who's still competitive by nature, like I'm in the ring with my sons too, both of them, and I don't know, I just feel a sense of there's just a sense of pride for, because I know what they're doing, and I know what it takes to step on the mat in front of a lot of strangers and people, and really put it on the line one on one, right? So he won his first match last this past week, and boy, I was just really happy for him. He was really happy about it.
Yeah.
Um, his teammates were really happy about it. It was he's struggled so much that they had um he's got a social studies class where they actually have um like a running bet because the freshman basketball team hasn't won a game yet. So there's like this running bet of who, if Reese is going to win one or if the freshman basketball team. And like, I got to give him kudos because he's
He
he's
beat him.
taking it in stride, man. And he's just like, yep, yep, that makes sense. and I'm pretty sure that he kind of came out on top if you bet on Reese, which is
That's
really cool.
awesome. That is awesome, man. That's so
Yeah,
funny.
yeah.
No.
And he got a bunch of text messages and the group chat lit up and it
Oh,
was
yeah,
cool,
I
man.
bet. I bet. That's so funny, man. That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. How's the huddle been going?
It's going well. I
Yeah,
um
nice.
I'm since the last time we talked kind of in depth about it, I've kind of switched it up. I'm still trying to like get a feel for how how kids are taking it in and how teachers are taking it in. And I've kind of found um kind of a formula right now that's kind of just um been hidden a little bit. Um
Nice.
yeah, yeah. So
What's the
we're
formula? I'm
well,
curious.
formula is basically right. It's teaching the principle. So last month, um, we taught on unity. So you basically, I'm talking. So I'm delivering the message. Some impactful content for kids to digest about unity and what it's about, and then I kind of just pair it up with like a short movie clip to kind of reinforce it a little bit, maybe give them some uh something they've seen or something that's familiar, talk about a little bit more, ask some questions, or have um maybe like a thought for them to kind of marinate on, and then a little bit more content, and then talk about, and then I throw in a song that kind of links up to unity. um yeah, and then and kind of uh use the song as kind of a way to talk about unity and what the artist was talking about, what some of the lyrics were touching on when it comes to unity, and then so that's kind of like that like the first initial, like in the first half of the month, like maybe the first week, and then like in the middle I'll make another video, whether it's a story about something or um really that's what it is. Kind of like what we talked about. Like kids love stories, and if we can link personal stories or a story from someone else, and use it as a huddle. So when it came to unity, we have a big problem right now. We have a big problem of gossiping. I'm sure no middle school is immune to that. Gossiping is ridiculous right now. And so I made a video where we talked about gossiping. And so what I did is I ended up um, utilizing maybe about 10 kids, and we played a game of telephone. And so like I filmed them doing telephone, and I kind of had the beginning where this is what the sentence actually is. And then it was cool because like not only what was it going to be a surprise for the kids that are going to be watching during the day, but I also kept it from the kids who were participating, and they were all like, what they say? What did they say? And it's like, you all have to wait.
Yeah, nice.
So there has to be some engagement with it too. And um uh that video really hit because uh not only do I experience these things in the counseling office, I also our teachers are experiencing it. So I had a couple teachers, one in particular that um, came walking by my office as I was standing out there doing passing periods, stuck her hand out and was like, "Well done, thank you. That what a great message um, that you put out. It was just so timely."
Good
Um,
stuff.
and so and like not only that, so I also put in like teacher prompts in there too, so that they can also participate with the
Yeah, yeah,
video.
yeah.
So like right, just trying to find the
Yeah,
formula
man.
where I don't want to give teachers another like this is another lesson. I and I also want it to be consistent.
That's so good, man. Yeah, man, that's so good.
Came out.
Hmm. I love that. That's really good. Yeah. That's exciting, dude. That's really exciting. What's this coming month?
This month is integrity. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I got some teachers participating. I just filmed I filmed like 4 of them just so that to whet the appetite because we do like a morning um morning announcement slides for teachers to kinda go through what's going on in the day, and so, like, this is designed to be a quick 30-second they see a teacher talking about integrity and kinda just, um, have it in their minds fresh, and then next Monday, I'll drop um, the lesson video, the
Yeah,
song video, all that stuff.
that's
So
awesome. It's way more of a
yeah.
slow drip than just, blitzing all at once, which is
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Would be way more effective too. Yeah. Dude, that's so cool. Love it.
Yeah, thanks, man. Let's
Yeah.
5 months in the what is 5 months in the making so far?
Yeah, but I mean, it's just right, just experimenting,
It
iterating,
is.
figuring it
It
out,
is.
and, like and then, yeah, I'm excited because I think next year you could really I mean, I always have lofty plans, but I think it'd be cool because I think it's something that, yeah, you dial the formula in, and then you could start copy pasting it for other people and be like, "Hey, that's how you do it. This is the thing." Ray
Totally, man.
Sebastian. Yeah, it's gonna take every middle school by storm. It's gonna be awesome.
Especially this month, man. Integrity. You know, you gotta be someone that is a truth teller, someone that's people can trust, right? So, yeah, it'll be I'm hoping and praying that, the stuff that I'm gonna put together is gonna land really well, and like I said, kids can there's a language behind it too, to where teachers can use it and really kind of try to streamline what it what it means all together in all the messages of the huddle, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
You said you
I
had
love it.
another like you were saying you had another thing about your kids. You had two things you wanted to talk about with kids, or was that it?
Oh, no, yeah, that was the little one. The older one, it's more of a, uh, technology, looking at inappropriate things, and then having those conversations, which
Yeah,
which
for
is
sure, man.
fun, and then, locking down computers more and then having, uh and it's more of the conversation that needs to happen, where it's not just once, but it's just like a constant, like, "Hey," like, "This is going to be a thing." And I think the interesting thing is kind of weighing it out, kind of in 2 ways. One side, I have friends and family that are very much like, "Okay, we're just going to, lock this down, everything down, so that kids never are on computers ever until they're 18, then they can make their own decisions," which I kinda see that being it seems nice in one sense because it's like, "Okay, yeah." However, when you turn 18 and then all of a sudden there's no guardrails and you have no conversation and you know what I mean? Like, that's dangerous, and I've seen that become pretty detrimental in some people's lives. And so the
Yeah,
other is obviously then we're not the parents that are just like, "Here's a screen and good luck, go for it, whatever." And so really finding the ability to say, "Here's how you're gonna have to live in the world this way because this is the world." And so now you're getting more and more introduced to terrible things that are out there, you know?
right.
And so how do we navigate that? How do we do this well? And how do we have openness and conversation and things like that so that we don't stay in hiding and shame and addiction, is ultimately where things go. But um so yeah, it's just been that's been interesting as well. Just because that's all that's happened in the last month as well, also. So and obviously I know there's kind of two extremes. I've got, it's a big age gap, 13 and 6, 13 and 5. And so like, one I'm still making sure he's wiping all the way.
Right.
And the other, it's like, all right, yeah, you're starting to flex and you need to be your own person and friends are becoming more important than mom and dad and all that stuff. And I knew that the age gap when they're little is not that big of a deal. It's 8 and 2 years old. That's not that big of a gap. It is, right? But now I can see, 13, 14, 15 and
Yeah.
8. That's a big gap. Like that's a big gap.
Yeah.
So
Like, developmentally too, yeah, for
exactly.
sure. Yeah, that's the big one, yeah. Yep,
Yeah.
for sure, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to navigate that, but and then trying to do things. It's like here's the things of what makes our family unique and being strong as a family and things like that. You know,
Yeah, man.
how do we do this and how do we do it well? So yeah, so it was just I mean
Good.
parenting.
Yeah.
It's it's
Yeah,
fun.
I think like, um, I think there's if you can maybe just tinker a little bit with like language when lockdown, right? It sounds like we're in prison.
Yeah,
But like I think limiting is a very is a word that you can communicate well because I think we all need limits um and guardrails. Like those are great ways to phrase essentially the same thing. You'll be able to be like, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. The other where you're like, wait, what? I'm behind
yeah,
bars on this one. So you know what I mean? Like, and I'm the same way. Like I totally my first instinct, uh, and I think yours is too, is we're dads, man. We're protectors, and we want to protect, and we want to hold tight to
yeah,
our family and so a lot of it is it's over for you, bro. That like that's the language that I would say
yeah,
back in the days. But then then once the emotions have kind of simmered down a little bit, then and I'm thinking with my correct brain, then I'm like, oh, we have to limit things, right? Because if you don't have guardrails, then you crash. Then there's a cliff that you can kind of fall into, and the damage um can be really tough to recover from. So no, I like it, man. I, I'm with you there. Limiting, right? Like I just not recently, maybe the end of November, I finally kind of let my boys have their phones in their rooms. But here's the thing, I have a brick. Like all your apps are done. Basically the only thing that you have down there um is basically it's your alarm clock.
nice. You're like, and
which
network done. Yeah,
which they actually, because like it shuts down all their apps. I don't know if you ever
yeah,
heard of the Brick app, but it's actually
yeah,
a really cool tool. But yeah, um they've been doing well, man. Like, and
nice.
I think a lot of that is because of the limiting before, and they understand within the limiting, there's expectations with it, right? And you get to have a little bit more when you can handle this limit.
Yeah,
Yeah. So,
that's good. Yeah, I can't remember who I heard it from, but somebody said one time that where there's no boundaries, there's going to be bondages.
ooh,
Or
that's
I was
good.
like, "Ooh, that's good." Right? It's one of those
Yeah.
word things. Yeah, because it's true in diet, it's true in exercise, it's true in excess of whatever, right? If you don't have boundaries in place in certain ways, then yeah, you're gonna fly off the guardrails, right? And then there's become bondages and some things that same way like when people ask, why like drinking's an easy one to talk about, right? When people are like, okay, well, if you don't have limits to it, I can turn into an addiction, right? Anything that has that type of excess can be bad. So learning, yeah, and I think that was kind of yeah, because I agree. It was very much like that night was like, "Mm, you're done. But then, but then when my brain turned back on and I got some sleep, and then was like, okay, let's think about this because how do I how do I help guide you? Because that's also a transition of our relationship as you get older and older. I'm going to be less and less the authority figure, and more. I want to be um, kind of still a guiding light and a guiding voice of
A guide on the side, man.
yeah, the guide
Yeah.
on the side. Ooh, I like that. That's good. Yeah, so that I can help him navigate. Here's the craziness out there, and just so you know, it's crazy out there. Like, and not even, but even understanding. He wants to go in the military, and so obviously there's a lot of things that I'm like, yeah, I'm excited for you to get a little bit older. There's a lot of movies I want you to watch because I want you to understand warfare. Like, here's what you think you understand of it, and here's more the reality of it. And the
Right.
reality is tough. If you're going to be, and if he really wants to be an officer and he wants to go, fly jets and do his thing, it's like, okay, well, that means that people under your command, that means you're making decisions that are literally going to affect their lives.
Mm,
So you better have a good degree of, I don't know, there's some humility and some soberness that comes with that, where you're like, okay, I can't mess around with these types of decisions.
sure.
I don't know, man.
Some
It's been,
some good wisdom, right?
yeah,
We just hope that our kids they leave our house with a healthy amount of wisdom,
yeah,
to make the right choices, to know what's right from wrong, um, what's good and what's bad, right? And I think that, um, uh, there has, you know, of course, us, we have, um, we know where our moral authority comes from, right? And I think we've both kind of set our kids up to where, you know, uh, the absolute truth, the absolute authority in our lives is outside of us, and
yes,
and
right.
and um and it should and it should dictate the way we think and our perspective. And in the times when we're flooded with emotions, we're flooded by circumstances, like we can still hear that still small voice, you know, still saying, "Hey, uh, the right way is over here," and so you know what I mean. And have I've been talking about this a lot, like emergency brakes,
Hmm.
uh, when it comes to just like the impulsive choices, impulsive thinking. Um, whether it's what we say, the actions that we take, just having our thinking like slow down for a second. And that's and sometimes, maybe even a lot of times, especially in like the age that I work with, middle schoolers, you have to show them where the emergency brake is so that they can
Yeah.
pull up, or or they end up crashing.
Yeah.
And sometimes a lot of our kids, they need to crash. And I guess to tie this into what we just finished kind of discussing, which is the um having this wait, what did we just talk about? My bad, dude.
Like guardrails, boundaries, that
Yeah,
stuff.
guardrails.
Yeah.
Like guardrails, or no, the limiting, like
Yeah, yeah,
having
yeah.
limits. That can also, when a classroom doesn't have limits and expectations and structure, boy, man, uh, not only is it going to be tough for, the teacher that's in there, um, but the kids start to kind of learn this behavior, um, and it's not helping them at all. They're just they're crashing and they don't even know it. Yeah, and so and like th- and so like we're sometimes, as educators and administrators, we're like running into this, um we're running into the difficulty of having firm boundaries where they hit the guardrail safe enough and they comprehend it.
Right. Yeah.
um
Snaps them out of it a little bit.
it snaps
Yeah.
them out of it a little bit, right? But like what happened, like here's a step further. What happens when they have busted through the guardrails and they're in the dirt and they're out of school, right? Like, do we have are do we have the EMTs there? And when I mean EMTs, family members, parents, right? Like, do we have them there to kind of, bandage them up and, let them know, hey, do you want to keep crashing through that or not? You know what I mean? So yeah, that's just, yeah, it's just difficult. That's probably some of the things we've been challenged by a lot, is that kind of that once what happens when they've crashed through,
Yeah.
um and what happens at the
Mm.
hospital, what happens at
Yeah.
home, right? So anyways,
Yeah. I would imagine that would be tricky, obviously, because I'm sure there's a lot of parents that are pretty checked out in those situations. And so they crash through. It's like, there is no EMT. They're just in the ditch. Like,
yeah,
You're just on their own.
right?
And that's not great, but it's also not that's hard. It's not your responsibility,
Yeah,
right?
right,
And
right.
that's kind of the reality of the situation as well.
Yeah, I think sometimes I don't not that's not the right wording. But when parents get caught up in the emotion of the poor choice that their teen has made, um, they want it fixed for somehow. They want it fixed somehow, and they're looking to us to fix it. The issue there that we run into is that the I think parents forget that there's 22, 23, 25 other kids in the class that this is
Yeah.
impacting. It's not just
Right.
impacting your own child, it impacts everybody that's in the classroom. We can't just throw we can't just like we can't put the kid in with the same thinking and mindset that they got out in the first place. It just it's not gonna there has to be some way to kind of retrain and rediscipline uh, a kid's thinking so they're not you talked about being a slave to or bondage to, they're not bondaged with their emotions.
Yeah. 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 That's hard.
It is hard, man.
Especially if you've never had any. It was funny last night at Civil Air Patrol. The guy that was presenting, he was talking about box breathing and how the Navy SEALs use it, as the technique to slow down when it's getting crazy, just so you can start thinking more clearly and you're more focused and more sharp. And it was kind of fun because same way. I mean, like there's several kids that are pretty rough that are part of Civil Air Patrol, but I think the difference is like there's also the expectation of military discipline. And so it's like you stand to attention, everybody's standing to attention, and you have a bunch of peers that are going to be like, knock it off if you're, getting out of hand or whatever. But
Yeah.
yeah,
But
I
that's
don't
the
know.
culture, right? That's
Exactly. That's the
the
culture.
culture is what, shapes guys up. This is the expectation of
Yep.
what happens here. This is just what we do,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I think and that's kind of what I was saying about like the structure that you have within your classroom and are you going to have days where you just, like there's precipitating factors that are impacting you for sure. For sure. Um but all the more reason to have things set in place so that
Yes.
so that when you do get punched in the face, you can remember you have a plan, and
Yeah.
so do the kids,
Right.
right? I was having a like yesterday, man. Oh gosh, man, I started out with like three like super emotional girls, um, crying like they're just so jumpy, and I was already having like my morning did not start off very well, right? I was kind of like sitting in my office and like they're just like, "Well, how come you're not talking, Mr. Sebastian?" I'm like, "I'm just listening." I don't even know what to say. Like I was just being like real with them too, right? And I think they really kind of appreciated it, and they kind of saw that they kinda I kinda let him into, like, "Oh, Mr. Sebastian is human." Like,
Yeah.
it was almost like a e emergency break for them that they're like, "Oh, whoops. My bad, Mr. Sebastian, are you okay?" And I was like, what do you what makes you ask that?" She's like, "Well, you're just not yourself." And I was like, "Well, I'll be honest with you." Right, I told him, I said, "Morning was really crappy, and, like, right now I'm feeling really bad that my energy is I'm not giving you guys the energy that I need." And then it was just like crazy how they were just like, "Oh yeah, well, we're kind of hard to deal with, Mr. Sebastian." They all like looked at each other. I was like, and I was like, "I get it, but this is my job. This is what I enjoy doing this." And they're just like, "We're just gonna chill right now. Do you have like some like can we?" And like I had like this like bucket of sand outside, and they're like, "We're gonna grab this sand and we're just gonna like cool off." and we're gonna give you some space too. And I was like,
Cool.
what just happened here?
Dude, that is so funny.
Uh, but like, right, that's just it was like, and we ended up having a coherent conversation about like what was bothering, and surprise surprise, it all comes to it all come back to gossiping, and then even dug a little further, there's some insecurities.
Sure. Yeah.
And man, dude, like when we can have an understanding, when I can get to that point with students in my office to where we can like have like small pockets of vulnerability and just realness, it's amazing what comes from that, man. Like like they were all like, yeah, we are a little insecure, and I want you to know it's normal. Like you're sixth graders, you're trying to figure out like this new thing, but you're taking old habits that you had with these friends, and it's like turned up to 10, right? And it's like like I said, it just those conversations, like they went away from the office like, yeah, we need to cool it. And maybe whether it's they have this, maybe it impacted them to where, you know, um they're back into their group, and they're like, maybe I need to make a different choice because I didn't really like feeling that way. I didn't like thinking about people that way. I didn't like thinking of that I was insecure in those moments. And so I don't know, man. I don't know if it if it worked, but they appeared to be in a much better mood, and um like maybe like a little bit of trust between the three of them, a little bit more. Like, hey, what stays in here stays in here. Yeah, 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 definitely. Yeah, good. Awesome. Fantastic. Okay, bye. See you later. I'm gonna go like shut my door and lock it and like cry for a little bit. Not cry, but like just crying on the inside, man. On the
Yeah.
inside.
That's so
Yeah.
funny.
Honestly,
Uh,
I just prayed actually. I
yeah.
I prayed, and I was like, Lord, that was a rough one. I appreciate you taking me through that storm. And I feel that we've landed at the dock safely, and I'm tied and good to go. And here we are. And today was same thing. Not same thing, but like different scenario. Um, you know, different students, but generally the same thing. But I was, I just was in a better I was just in a better mindset, and I gave them good energy. So yeah.
That's so funny. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's interesting because I think that the ability to bounce back when you know that you get out of sorts, I wonder if that's a mark of maturity.
Mm,
Like when you say, okay, I'm not gonna have a bad day. I can have a bad hour or whatever, right? But I'm not gonna let it turn into a bad day. I
yeah.
don't know.
Well,
That's
I
interesting.
mean,
Yeah.
I would agree. That's yeah, like change, right? Uh, I think honestly, when it comes to a lot of middle schoolers, I think success is not um like a success is not a B to an A. I think success is a lot to do with change and
Mm,
changing for the better.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and if you can do that, and if you can adapt well, and I think you're going to be just fine. The
Yeah.
problem sometimes that we run into is we take that away for them to we take it we can sometimes take away that hardship part for them to bounce back
Mm, interesting.
because they got
Yeah.
to go
I see.
through it. That's what
Yeah.
I had another student yesterday that came into my office and was like, I have this friend and they're really struggling. I need some counseling tips from you of how to counsel them. And I was like, what? And I kind of, I told him, I said, well, just so you know, the things that I tell you that appear to help you, um, that has that's from a lot of years of learning. And they're like, "Oh, yeah. Do you like," and they want to answer quick, and I was like, "But I just can't like tell you." So instead of me telling you a tip, why don't you just tell me about the situation and then we'll kind of go from there. And I ended up telling the student, I said, "You're doing exactly what your friend needs. You're there for them. Just continue. And if at some point you're having a hard time, send them my way."
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and they went out like, like, "Oh yeah, that's a great plan." I was like, "Sure."
Yeah. But it's kind of the same
Yeah.
thing we were talking about, at the beginning when I was talking about teaching leadership principles. And it's like, yeah, that's should be common knowledge. Yeah, but it's not. And so, when you start teaching these things that are common, and then it's the mind blowing thing. It doesn't happen. I think it's the going through it too. Right. Where I think I remember it was, John Maxwell, he was in some Q&A session and somebody asked about being a young leader and what they feel like they've learned a lot, but they don't feel like they've got the opportunity to go and apply it, or it was something like that, right? So
Mm,
somebody's in their early 20s and they're like, "Man, I've read all these books and I've learned all these things." And he said that, the best thing when you're young is learning, because you don't have the experiences that make sense of the knowledge. He said, versus the other side where people that have a lot of experiences, they've been through the fires and the trials. When they learn the knowledge, it connects the dots. And so, as a young leader, keep learning. Don't just rely on the head knowledge that you have.
yeah.
Also, learn to find the experiences that are going to give you the insights and have the application, like, and then it can connect the dot ahead of time. And he was basically saying that's the accelerator, versus somebody that's 80 years old and then they learn this principle and they're like, "Oh, I wish I would have known this 30 years ago, when I was dealing with this situation."
Right.
And but yeah, you're right. You're exactly right. Like, there's no substitute for having to go through it,
Mhm.
whatever it is, right? Whatever
Yeah.
the hard is that you have to experience, go through, whatever.
Yeah. And
So,
then being able to reflect on it too, right? I think going back to a Maxwell quote, it's when he's talking about, you know, um, wisdom, and wisdom comes from experience, and he's like, "Nope." Um, because sometimes wisdom comes along with age comes experience.
right, yeah.
Wi what is it? With age comes wisdom.
Wisdom. Yeah. It's like
And then he
sometimes
goes,
age
"Well,
comes. Yeah.
sometimes." Yeah, and then he goes like, "Sometimes wisdom comes alone."
Yeah.
And you just age out. Um, and he said that, along the lines of, with age comes that experience that comes with it, right? And that should translate into wisdom. Um, but he said, "No, no, no. If the key is to have evaluated wisdom, evaluated experience is gonna bring it to that, to give you that insight and that wisdom that you need, right? So that your experience isn't just lost."
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so good. I,
Well,
I
I
was
butchered
thinking,
that up big time, bro.
it's all good. I got the gist of it. I got the gist of it. It was something I was thinking about this morning, because, or no, it must have been yesterday or the day before. But I just kind of, so I kind of started getting into this rhythm, right? Of I'd get up, I'd read the news, just, different things are going on in the world. It must have been 2 or 3 days ago, but I just kind of stopped and I was like, how is this serving me? Like,
Mm,
how is this actually helping me? I'm like, it's pissing me off, a lot of things that I read. So I was like, okay, but does it actually affect me? Or do I think it affects me somehow in a way that it doesn't? And, it's kind of like this realization where I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of things I could get upset about, mad about, news that I could read, spins that are out there, or it doesn't actually affect my life.
mm,
And things that are big enough to affect my life, I'll know about them because I'm not super connected, but I'm connected enough. I'm fairly well connected with people and things that if there was something that was newsworthy that was actually going to affect me, I'd hear about it. You know, buying Greenland doesn't affect me, for example.
Yes.
So I mean,
Yeah.
so it's a lot of those things. I'm like, okay, yeah. And how do I influence where I can? And it was kind of a funny thought that I had this morning. And it was this morning. Um, Kind of in the same way, like instead of worrying about the future, how about we go create it? Just kind of this like flash of thought that I had, just thinking about instilling the same of the work that you do, right? You're not worrying about the future. It's like, okay, how do we help create it? And how do we pass on values and things to the next generation of students, athletes, whomever, right? Young
Mhm.
people, because that's actually where the future lies, not in our predisposed ideas of whatever the news cycle is.
Mm,
Because,
mm.
people have been worried about the end of the world for about the beginning of the world. So it's not like it's a new thing.
Right.
And so the more that we don't live in catastrophizing things, and the more that we can just live in the how am I affecting and what am I doing and how is my influence being able to affect the things that I can control or can have some effect or influence on, I think the better it's going to be. So it's only been like 3 or 4 days, but holy cow! Two things. One, it's really hard to not want to just go see what's going on in the news and a lot of podcasts that I listen to and stuff like that. So like, I was like, okay, I can't listen to these podcasts because they basically just talk about news all the time, and I
Right.
can't, you know. And so, it's been interesting. It's been a really interesting like cleanse, and I don't know. It's not going to be forever, I don't think, but I just felt like February is the month that I just need to like push pause on that for a while. So
That's good, man.
yeah,
I mean, and I think that right there is wisdom. What you just said is it's wisdom because that comes from you knowing from experience and from past, um, just like your own personal patterns. Like that's where this is going, and I don't like it, and I'm
yeah,
going to stop. And, and
yeah,
and for you and for you to come to that like uh that stopping point where you're at the choice and you have to make a choice. Like,
yeah.
do I make it 3 days in a row? Or am I gonna be like, yep, this is not good for me, and I'm gonna take this road. I'm gonna detox from the psychological operation that's going on right now in our world.
Yeah, for sure,
Oh
for
man.
sure. I
Because
think a funny thing too
I'm with
is,
you, man. I'm with you.
yeah,
I get it.
yeah,
Like when I come home from work, I don't like I sometimes listen to the news to be like, I just I don't wanna think about it. Just like give me something that I'm like, is that really happening? But I feel myself too, like, um, and I've gone through it enough as you have as well, when we just feel yucky and it's time. And um it's just easier. It gets easier to stop it when you're ready to be like done with it, you know?
and I
I'm
think
out of
that
it.
the probably just maybe the age and wisdom thing, but I also know it's not going to be forever either. I
Right.
think because I think when I was younger, like in my early 20s, I had very much like a black and white, like, okay, well, I'm going to work out every day forever. Right. And then you don't. And then you're like, forget it. I'm never going to work out ever again. It's like, well, that's not, that's not true either. Um, but it's more the wisdom of like, okay, what is the season? What is the thing I need right now? Like, what is the intentional thing that I'm doing or not doing and choosing to do. Even things we've talked about, like, I'm not playing soccer like you said. I'm playing on the worship team at church. I'm volunteering at Civil Air Patrol. I mean, so there's different things that are shifting. And again, I know that's not forever either. And so it's not getting myself in this like very black and white, all or nothing type thing. It's like, okay, this is what I feel is happening right now in this season of life and what I
Yeah,
get to do. So
yeah. And be
yeah,
present in it, right? Be
yeah,
present in it.
exactly.
Yeah. Go
Yeah.
go through it. Do the experience.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Which has
Nice.
been it's been good. Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be a fun year. It's a busy season for me too. I was telling my cousin Kevin, must have been 3 weeks ago the last time we hung out. We had lunch and he was asking about the year and what I got coming up and I said, when I was playing high school varsity soccer and I'd be working all summer and we'd drink like, a 12 pack of Mountain Dew every day. delivering furniture and all these things. And then you know that 3 days are coming. And it's just this like, dread that you have. That you're like, okay, I haven't been working out. I've been eating terrible. I know I'm going to be puking my guts out. So I was telling them like that's kind of the feeling that I have as I'm jumping into like the software launch and building out other coaches in different parts of the country. Like I know the amount of work that is probably just because also probably having the experience of like I've done this before. It's not my first rodeo, but knowing the amount of work that's going to go into this and knowing like, man, this is going to be a really stretching season for me, and it's going to be a lot. Like I'm going to be working a lot, but at the same time, also having some. I don't know. It's kind of weird too, because at the same time, I also know limitations where I'm like, all right, I'm done. Like I'm not going to work on that anymore today. It's not my brain's done. You know, yeah, I don't have to get it all done today because the law of diminishing returns and different things. But it was just an interesting, it was just an interesting thought that I had. Like I know what's coming, and I
Yeah.
know the amount of work that it's going to be, and I'm not shying away from it. But I also know that it's not going to be forever. Like I know that
Right.
this is the season that it is, and so here we go. We got to get through the 3 days so we can get the muscles and the stamina and the things that we need so that we can compete.
Right.
But
I like it, man. What a great analogy that was.
yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, man.
And like, at some point too, when you get into the mix, it's kind of um it's kind of like playing football. Like you have the butterflies, and as soon as you hit somebody, you're like, well, my body knows this already, and I know what to do,
Yeah.
and then right, and then you just your body like just is familiar with it, and it gets to where it needs to go because I've done this before. I've walked this path. Maybe there might be some slight differences, but I know how to like tackle it. I know how to walk and push past it because
Yeah.
I've done it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's 100% right. It's been interesting too because I've been out of the tech side of things for a while, like the last few years, as I've been doing basically just more consulting and thought work and stuff. But as I've been getting back in it and just like it's like all these things firing, like, oh yeah, we gotta do this, we gotta do this, we gotta do this and this. So you're exactly right. Like it's all these things coming back to me, but it's boy, it's a list. Like we got a lot.
Yeah.
We got a lot to do. And so but it's kind of fun. It's a different like I'm excited about it, and it's kind of the same thing like with seasons. Like I'm gonna be speaking at a conference in like 5 or 6 weeks or something like that. And I don't even know what I'm gonna be talking about yet. Like it's it's not quite close enough that I have to care about it that hard. Whereas 2 years ago, like that was man, I'd be ramping up for that because that was the biggest thing that I was focusing on. Same way with
Yeah.
this podcast, which has been fun. The reps that we've done and the things like that. It's not that not even scary. That's not the word. But it's just natural. Like we just jump on and we just start hanging out and we start
Start
talking
good. Yep. Yep. Familiar.
and
Yep.
yeah, it's familiar. Yeah. And the more and more that we do it and the more I still have a long list of people. As part of hiring this executive assistant, one of the things I'm going to have them do is here's all the people I want to reach out to. I just think about it at 4 a.m. and then I don't do it. So I just need to offload that to somebody else and be like, hey, here's the schedule. Can you just book us a bunch of guests? And then same with this launch is I want to be speaking on a lot of podcasts. I want to go guest on a bunch of podcasts because that's a marketing thing that I want to do. But all these reps that we've been doing has been awesome. So when I
Yeah.
jump on I would jump on somebody else's podcast. It's not weird. Like I've done
Yeah.
it a bunch. So it's kind of the same. Like, hey, we're in it, and we'll go do it, make it happen. And it's same with speaking. It's same with anything. Like it's just the more that you do it, and I don't know, man. This is going to be a fun year. I don't know. I'm excited for this year.
Heck
I'm
yeah.
excited. What I'm excited for, and I think I shared this with you before, but um, as you are figuring all this stuff out with the huddle, like I am so excited to like see what that could become,
Mm,
like in a real way. Like
yeah.
what kind of thing could this do? Because how do we take that, impart that into another school, another bunch of schools in different parts of the world? Because man, it's stuff that's so needed and so bad. And if you figure out a bit of a formula, awesome. Like let somebody else run off that blueprint and that playbook. So yeah, dude.
Yeah. I'm also, yeah, I'm also excited about it too, man. And yeah, once I, yeah, I'll consult. I'll consult with you. like I always do anyways.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it right now, but it's just kind of cool to hear how it's coming together for you, though. I mean, like, it's
Thanks,
cool
man.
to see. Same thing, like it's the reps that you're putting in, and seeing like, okay, I don't like that. Let's do this. And I have a feeling by the time the year ends, you're gonna have a pretty good feel for what's effective and what's gonna really, speak and move the needle on stuff. So
Cool. Yeah.
yeah,
Thanks, man. It's awesome.
good buddy, you bet.